Today's talk, I read a story this morning about all the things like the Chiefs and the Eagles have in common. But you and I like to do this, so I want to start with this. There are basically four organizations that keep getting to this game the last 8 years. The Chiefs, the Eagles, the Niners, and the Rams. They keep getting to this game regularly. And what do they have in common? It's not superstar quarterbacks, right? Nick Foles got to 1-1. It's not great head coaches, Doug Peterson. It's not high-flying offenses. It's not stifling defenses. Chiefs, Eagles, Niners, Rams keep getting to this game. And they'll be favored after this year to get to the next year's game, right? It's one common thread upstairs. The front offices are hyper-aggressive. Trades, deal-making, moving up in the draft. That's it. And all have pivoted in recent years, even after success. Even after success. The Chiefs are like, we're going to go from Tyreek Hill, fastest receiver, to mostly a defensive-led franchise. Rams went Goff, who got to the Super Bowl. He got to the Super Bowl. We're going to move off him to Stafford. I mean, the Niners get to the Super Bowl with Garoppolo. We're going to go with Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey. And the Eagles, yeah, they change every 15 minutes. No big explanation needed, right? Coordinators, coaches, quarterbacks, they're constantly changing. So the NFL is a league that wants parity. Best record drafts last. There are limitations on what you can do. First place, hardest schedule. Last place, easiest schedule. So how do you separate when the governance of a league would like parity? Everybody's smushed to the middle. Got to be aggressive with your personnel moves. The loser in this trend is three teams that I think of. Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Cheap ownership, terrified of taking big swings on draft day. The Pittsburgh Steelers, how many years in a row they can't figure out offense, defensive culture. And the Dallas Cowboys, who couldn't afford Derrick Henry. That's funny. The Eagles have much more talent, very expensive, could afford Saquon Barkley. You couldn't afford Derrick Henry. So in a league designed for parity, you got to take big swings. Take Kansas City. They moved up in the draft to get Mahomes. They moved up ahead of Buffalo to get Trent McDuffie. They moved up to get Xavier Worthy. Even as they're winning, big aggressive moves to go get the piece they need. Rams, Niners, Eagles, Chiefs. It's not stifling defenses in all cases. It is now for Kansas City. It's not always great coaches. Nick Foles got to a Super Bowl. So did Jared Goff. This league, they are trying, despite what you think, to keep everybody within arm's length. And for the record, until this year, the bottom of the NFL always felt kind of small, but it's become more quarterback-centric, so if you don't have one, you fall back further and sooner. But if you're wondering the big difference in this league, Joe Burrow should be in 5 more Super Bowls. He's that good. I don't think he'll ever get to one if he stays in Cincinnati. They're cheap. They're frugal. They don't make moves. I mean, they started bailing from good players before they had to pay them. I mean, they were moving off safeties, anybody they could to save money before they paid Jamar Chase. So if you're looking for a common thread on this stuff, this is why. Ask yourself this. For last 30 years, one of the loser franchises in the league, let's be honest, was Detroit. What has Detroit done as well as anybody for the last 3 or 4 years? Draft. Aggressive. Take a running back in the first round. Move up and draft. Take swings. That's the difference. Well, you got to have the right quarterback. And Kansas City moved up to get it. The Rams made a deal to get it. Philadelphia's taken risks moving off MVP level wins to get it. And the Niners, Garoppolo, moved off him. Yeah, you got to get the quarterback. How do you think it's going to fall to you? You don't think you have to get on the phone? You don't think you have to take big swings on this stuff? These teams were good, and when they were good in getting to Super Bowls, they still were aggressive. That is the common thread. So I got to talk about this. And the NBA right now, yesterday Adam Silver came out and said, you know what, I want to shorten quarters. They're tweaking stuff because the TV ratings are bad. Whatever. And one of the reasons is we don't have a Jordan. We don't have this young emerging star, a Steph Curry we can all latch on to, a domestic star. But I do think we have a team that feels like the most domestic old school product, the New York Knicks, who beat the Denver Nuggets last night. They are the anti-NBA. They don't shoot a lot of threes. Their guys, their starting five, there is no load management. They all play 35 minutes a night. Don't have much of a bench. They practice hard. They play harder. They're kind of a half-court offense. And it's very rare when a New York team is an underdog, but they're very much about culture. And that's really not the NBA. The NBA is about talent. It used to be Spurs and Duncan, culture. Chuck Daly Pistons, culture. MJ, toughness, Phil Jackson, culture. The New York Knicks won again last night. And what they've done, and why I think they're so incredibly likable, is they're basically Villanova professionally. Mature guys, older guys, same starting lineup, no load management, and in a league that is struggling because their stars are all international. And international guys, they're not as interested in doing commercials. You don't know who they are. They didn't go to Kansas or Syracuse or UConn. I didn't go to UCLA and Arizona and Gonzaga. You didn't watch them in college. They get hoisted onto a bad team. You don't watch them until they're stars. They're already in the league 5 years, and they don't want to do big shoe commercials. So I think it's really interesting watching the New York Knicks last night. And here's the thing. The East Coast, the NBA needs the Knicks. They really do. The Lakers aren't well run enough to ever carry this franchise again with this ownership. They're not. The Clippers have the richest owner. They're not a big brand. Wemby's fantastic, but San Antonio's a small market. So in the end, this league, like baseball, they need the Yankees. Everybody needs something except the NFL, where Kansas City can drive ratings, Buffalo can drive ratings, Baltimore and Green Bay can drive ratings. The NBA needs the Knicks because they can't apparently develop a domestic star that we all fall in love with. I thought it would be Ant, maybe not. So they gave us a very domestic team, the New York Knicks, because we can't trust Philadelphia. And can we be honest about Boston? They're really deep, but they don't have any personality, and all they do is shoot threes. It's not that riveting basketball. And I think this is really great about the Knicks is everybody's always loved, all of our basketball stars, especially our domestic stars, have loved playing in New York. Jordan loved it. Kobe loved it. Shaq loved it. Ant loves it. Everybody likes performing in New York. And what's interesting is the stars have always loved going to New York and showing off. And this team's kind of starless. I mean, Jalen Brunson's terrific, but he's a Villanova guy. And Villanova guys are really about culture and toughness and practice. They're so anti-NBA. Jalen Brunson said, yeah, I'm going to give up money. I want Mikal Bridges. I'm going to give up money. They are the anti-NBA. Not a lot of threes, no load management, practice and play hard. Starters play 37 minutes, play hurt, don't really care, all in, and I think it works. The NBA could use about a dozen more Knicks. And I'm trying to think of a New York team in my life that was an underdog. Maybe it was the Giants against that undefeated Patriots team. A lot of America was kind of rooting for Eli and, all those defensive linemen. But this is the rare New York team that really feels likable, embraceable, heavily domestic, anti-NBA, sacrificing for the betterment of the team. Fun watch. Beat Denver last night. Easy team to watch.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.